Hello everyone, welcome back to Mini Resin Chef, where we are a community of adult collectors and creators of miniatures. I'm your host Resin Bell, and today we're celebrating Mardi Gras. We are making 3 separate Miniverse remixes. We're going to make bananas foster, some shrimp gumbo, and a king cake. And I'm going to show you how to do it, so stay tuned, hit that like button and that subscribe button, and let's get cooking with resin. Okay friends, so let's start with our gumbo. I have pre-made some little shrimpies, and I made them a little darker because I want them to look like they've already been cooked. Some of them have a bit of a pinkish, some of them got a little brown, but we'll work with it. I'm going to use the little pepperonis from the pizza, but we're going to use them as sausage. And some pico because it has some nice colors. Gumbo is a very colorful kind of a dish. It has a lot of like reds and greens and browns and stuff. So we're gonna pull the celery pieces out of the chicken veggies, and we're gonna use those in lieu of our okra. And then we're going to be putting on our rice. We're going to mix up some chicken stock and some chocolate sauce to be able to kind of make our kind of roux. And we're going to mix that up first. So let's pour our chicken stock in. I'm going to take a little bit of the beeswax from one of the candle things. I'm going to add that just to give it a little hint of opaqueness. I'm not going to add too much, just a little bit. And we'll add a little bit of the brown chocolate sauce. It's looking pretty roux-y. Yeah, I think it needs a little bit of red in there to make it look more like soup base. Let's add a little bit of our ketchup. This is kind of a bright pink, so I want to use this very sparingly. You can always add more. Yeah, that's probably a lot too much. Yeah, let's add some more of our chicken stock and some more of our chocolate to kind of tone that down a little. Whoop, that might be too much. I be careful here. This might be a disaster. I may have enough made up for like 10 bowls of gumbo by the time I'm done here. Alright, let's see what we've done here. There we go. That's the color I'm looking for. That's it, exactly. Just a little bit opaque, not too much, tiny little bit of a red tint. Yeah, that's a gumbo right there. That looks good. Alright, so let's go ahead and pour that into our bowl here. That's gonna be a good gumbo base, I think. What do you guys think? Let's add some of our sausage. We'll call it sausage. We'll call it sausage. It's technically pepperonis, but it works for gumbo sausage, I think. Mix those in. And let's put a couple of little shrimps down in there. Just a couple. We'll save the other ones for the top. These shrimps might be a little large, but maybe we're using jumbo shrimp in our gumbo. Let's add some pico to get some color going in there. There we go. Now let's mix that up a little bit. Let's cut down. I'm going to need to cut down these chunks All right, so we'll put some of those down in there. Those can be our, pretend that those are some okra down in there. And maybe a few herbs. Maybe a few herbs, just a few. All right, let's go ahead and add in the rest of this. I don't think it's clear enough. I think it'll be fine. We'll just get it all mixed in there good. Let's grab a little bit of our rice. We'll mix a little rice in there. Oh, yeah, it's starting to really look like gumbo now. It's got some rice in it. What do you guys think? Maybe just a little bit of herbs on top and then we'll cure it. All right, let's cure that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to making our bananas Foster. I have a whole lot of bananas and I was trying to think of different ways to use these. Plus, bananas Foster was originated in New Orleans. So we're gonna be using French vanilla ice cream, obviously. We're gonna use our banana pieces. I do kind of wish that Miniverse had put a little tiny bit more detail into the banana slices. They look almost like potato slices because they're just not quite detailed enough. I wish they would have put, like, you know, maybe the dots for seeds in the center, or, you know, something to kind of show that they're bananas. But I mean, we know they're bananas. I just wish they had a tiny bit more detail, because, you know, like the strawberry slices are printed and the tomato slices are printed and all that. It would have been nice to have just a little more detail in the center to make them really look like bananas, but this is going to be fine. So we're going to dump our bananas in. Just going to use all of those bananas. Yep. Then we're going to take our caramel from the apple pie. Oh, that looks so good. Although not quite caramely, but we're going to make it work. Caramel. This is technically apple pie goo. Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to, that's a little less caramely looking than I like. So I'm going to grab, I have a little bit of the caramel from the apple pie, or from the Halloween candied apples. So we're going to see, now that's caramel. I'm going to grab a little bit of that and mix that in as well, just to give it some color. Good color, yeah. I didn't want to use all of this because I do want the bananas coated in a more translucent way, so I think this will work to kind of make that caramel a little more translucent, but also get that apple pie to filling to the more caramel color. So yeah, that's looking pretty good actually. So let's make sure all of our bananas are coated in that yummy, yummy goodness. Mix those in really well. Trying not to make a mess of my dish. It's not really working for me. So my bananas Foster is looking kind of crazy, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. I may have to wipe my dish down before I. Yeah. Okay. That's looking pretty Fostery. Bananas Fostery. I'll coat this one a little bit better with a nice even layer of resin. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. me grab this one here. Yep, and put that right there. Now, I'm gonna grab my little French vanilla ice cream here. I'm gonna throw that right down in there. Yep. And we're gonna add just a little bit of this to the top here. Give it a little bit of color, a little bit of topping. Yeah, there we go. Maybe we could get a banana up there. Would that look good? I don't know if that would look good or not. We're gonna try it and see. I'm not too mad about it. I don't think I'm gonna leave that up there though. But I am gonna kind of lean them against the ice cream a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Put a little bit more on this ice cream. Look how that's kind of drizzled down. Let's move this stuff over a little bit. There, I like that. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna clean up. Here. I'm gonna grab that one. Yep, just like that. Looks pretty good. Let's move this stuff over just a bit. There we go. There's our bananas foster. I'm gonna clean up this edge here real quick and then we'll cure it. Okay, I've got the edge cleaned up a little bit. You know, I think I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of a sprinkle of the nuts on, just to give it some texture, to kind of give it a little something to look at. Just to change it up a little bit. It's the same color, but it gives it a little bit of texture, I think. So yeah, just a little bit of difference. All right, let's cure that. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do with the king cake is I need some, this is just some Sculpey clay, just a natural color. I believe this is Sculpey 3, but you can use whatever Sculpey or oven baked clay you have. Just kind of make a tan kind of cake color. Or white, whatever you want to make with that. And I'm actually going to be using the mold, the silicone mold, sort of, for the squishy jello mold from the Miniverse capsules. And this is actually 2 pieces. It has the mold and the mold protector so that you can keep your mold safe. We're actually going to be using the mold protector because it's stiff and I don't want to get a bunch of polymer clay in my mold. I want to save that for resin crafts. So we're going to be using that, and we're going to take a little lump of clay. We're going to make sure it's nice and warm so that it will do what we want it to do. But we want to create a little bit of a cone, but we don't want wrinkles and stuff because this part's going down into our mold and we want it to be as smooth as possible. You want a nice big chunk because you want something to be able to hold on to pull the mold out. I thought about using one, you know, a bundt cake or something, but the only one I have is either bright red or chocolate, and that would have worked pretty good. I could have cut down a bundt cake if I had one in a normal, regular color, but I don't. So this is the direction we're going. All right, so I've got my little volcano, basically, kind of a blunt volcano, and I'm going to take this and going to kind of make it a little bit longer here, and we're going to just push it right down into that mold. Now you're going to have trouble getting it down into these curves here, so I just take this and just kind of force it down in there, but you want to be careful and not get close to that center post in there. So we're just going straight down, push it down in there, not all the way to the bottom, just enough to kind of push that clay into each one of those sections. Okay. Now you can kind of work at it to kind of push it down in. And I left the silicone mold on there because that does give you something to grab hold of, a little bit of grippy, and it keeps that thin plastic from collapsing. So it's handy to have it there for this step. So just keep them together and you'll be fine. So there, I think it's pretty much well in there. So now we're gonna have to just gently wiggle this, kind of pushing the edges back a little bit. Work your way around. Okay. There. Excellent. All right, so you can see that it's not completely formed correctly, but that's okay. Because this is a little skinny for my king cake, I want it to be a little bit more larger around. So I'm going to take this tool and I'm just going to kind of work it in a circle like this, kind of pushing outward to kind of make that king cake a little bit wider, a little bit larger in the middle. See how it looks there? All right, and so now I'm going to kind of gently push it down and out. Not so much that you erase those ridges completely, but if you do kind of erase the ridges, that's okay. We're going to fix that with this. So you can kind of see where the ridges are. So we're just going to come back in here and we're going to add them back. For, so we're gonna get some chalk pastels and we're gonna color this up a little bit. Okay, you can take your chalk pastels. I'm gonna go for this lighter color here. Just gonna scrape at it a little bit. Now you want to make sure you add your chalk pastels before you bake it, otherwise it won't stick to the polymer clay. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bake that and we'll get moving on. All right, so now that our king cake is fully cured, cooked, we're going to add some vanilla cream, or you could use like the white chocolate or anything that's like a white or lighter colored cream. Okay, so all of the vanilla ones I have kind of a lightly pinkish tint, so they're kind of off-white. So I'm going to go with this spread that came with the avocado toast because it is pretty white, and that's what we want. So we want like a white spread. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get enough out of here to do the job. That looks pretty good. All right, so now we got to put our toppings on, and I have 3 different colors of glitter that I'm going to use, and that's going to be messy to say the least. So let me prepare for that. Okay, so I think I'm prepared for this terrible glitter bomb that's about to befall me. So we've got some yellow, we've got some green, we've got some purple. So we're gonna go ahead and get this on. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna use my little spatula here. Hopefully that will help me to not make an enormous mess, but I'm not holding my breath. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I have created the world's tiniest baby. And I will attempt to tell you how I made it. The bend kind of came out of its knees. Its knees were taller when I cooked, but when I cooked it, it went in. But okay, so I have this larger section here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick the baby on right there. Help make up for it. Yeah, I'm gonna put I know the baby's supposed to be inside, but it's not. So I will attempt to tell you how I made the baby. First, I made the head, and I rolled up the head into a little ball. And then I made a wedge, not too sharp on the end, just a little bit, like so. Made it flat, and then I cut the center. So this would be the shoulders, this would be the feet. So you cut the center, cut an arm, cut an arm, cut them down because they're too long, and stick the head on. Kind of roll the arms back and forth just gently so you don't tear them off. Trim a little bit here and there, and then maybe cuss a little bit until you decide it's good enough. So that's how I made the baby. All right, so let's cure this and we'll move on. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited with how these turned out. I mean, a look at this gumbo. Doesn't that just look good enough to eat right now? We've got our rice and our shrimp and our sausage and all our okra pieces, and a lot of that rice just kind of sunk to the bottom, which is understandable. It's a heavy rock type stuff, but we got some in there that were working pretty good. And yeah, so that just turned out really good. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And here we have our bananas Foster with our ice cream and our carameled bananas, and that's just ready to eat. And I put a little bit of crunchy nuts on top just to add a little bit of texture, and I think that turned out pretty cool. But the king cake, I have to say, is without a doubt my favorite thing I have probably ever made. Look at the baby, look at the baby. So yeah, I love how the king cake turned out. It turned out really cool, and it's super easy to make with that Jello mold. It makes it a lot easier to do and super fast. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching and for supporting this channel and having some fun with me, you know, making miniatures. How fun is that? So all right, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and check the links in the description box below for ways you can support this channel. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.